Well, hello Dirtfish Rally friends. End of Saturday here at Rally Sweden. And would you believe we have had another just incredibly close, incredibly exciting day. Don't forget, at the start of the day we had 5 cars within 10 seconds of the lead. At the end of the day, not quite that, but you know what, Luke Barry? It's still incredibly exciting. 3 cars within 6 seconds of the lead. What a day we've got ahead tomorrow. But first of all, what a day we've had today.
We predicted it, didn't we? Or we hoped it would happen.
We did predict it.
We'd keep having this great battle into Saturday. The dimensions have changed a little bit. We've got a different player, I guess, closer into the mix. But to see the gaps that tight, and don't forget there's 10 extra points available for those fastest across Sunday as well. So there's a lot to fight for tomorrow.
What I love, though, is that they've readjusted the points, and tomorrow is all about the win. It's all about the win. The win gets rewarded the most, and that's how it always should have been. Who is it who's in the box seat for the win? Well, leading the way, it's a slender lead, but leading the way is Elfyn Evans. He had a fabulous day yesterday. He's had a strong day today, but you'll be disappointed, Luke, to have given away those 5 seconds in that final stage of today.
Yeah, it's made things a lot tighter for him, hasn't it? He's now only 3 seconds ahead of his teammate Takamoto Katsuto. And I guess if you're a driver, you can look at this 2 ways. Is it a good thing to have your teammate behind you, or is it a bad thing? Perhaps, in Elfyn's case, it might be a good thing, because we know the pressure Katsuto is under to finish the rally. He said it himself at the end of the stage. He needs to finish, and that doesn't mean he can't push and win, but it makes that mission a lot harder if you know you've got to just back off a little bit. Elfyn's might, but it's only 3 seconds.
There's more to it than that. There's more to it than that. We'll come to Takasuta in a minute, but I think there's more to it than that. In terms of Evans, I think it's worth talking a little bit about his performance, because we definitely, on the face of it, saw a more relaxed, different approach from Elfyn and Monty. That has very much continued here. There's been very little negative talk. There's been very little complaining. He's just gone about his job in the tidiest, neatest, fastest way. He has been impressive, and it's maybe a little early in the season to say it, but it is a different Evans to me we're seeing this year.
I agree that it's early, but I agree that he's different. I think there is just something about it, and he's been anonymous today, and I mean that in a great way. He's not done anything wrong, and the battle's been that close, but throughout the entire day today he's still led the rally after every single stage, and that just speaks rather of what a classy performance and what a classy drive he's put together. It's hard to look past him for me to win tomorrow, but as we know, it's 3 stages, anything can still happen in those.
First of all, tell me about that final stage. Talk me through what happened.
Just lost the rear a little bit in the braking, and then I was quickly running out the road to stop for the junction, but unfortunately the car just locked on the braking, and then it stalled, so quite costly.
It's very fine margins here, isn't it? With such small gaps, it's difficult. But tell me about the day. Again, you seem to have a day where you're comfortable with the car. Would you consider it a strong day?
Overall it was a good day. Of course, a few things we could have done a little better, but on the whole, it was pretty good out there.
You know, it's difficult when you have to fight with the car to find the right balance in the car. Chucking then the tyres and adapting the tyres. It does appear that you're dealing with those issues really well on this rally. Would you agree with that?
I think we're in a window where we can have an understanding at least what the car is doing, so that you have to just work around that then.
Is it a fight for victory? We know there are no team orders, but we know Jari Mati's made it very clear that he wants you to finish. So important for the team that you finish tomorrow. Is it a fight? Is it an open fight for victory tomorrow?
Sorry. Yeah, for sure. On my feeling, of course, I want to do something, push or something because I'm hungry, but I just need to follow the team strategy, of course, but we cannot forget that here is just behind us and not so far. So anyway, we need to do good run and good push tomorrow, and Sunday point, of course, and also keeping our position at least.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric, senior instructor here at Dirtfish. Welcome to Ice Driving USA. We're here to get you sideways on the ice. Are we talking or are we driving? You'll start your day here on the lake in Wisconsin. First, we'll have you on the slalom course to give you a better understanding of how weight transfer works on the ice. But we're really here for linking corners and getting sideways on some longer courses. Power, check. Grip, double check. All-wheel drive, studded tires, great hospitality, and one amazing frozen lake for a playground. And getting here couldn't be easier. The nearest airport is just 30 minutes away, and we have 1 or 2 day courses available, including an all-women's class. So what are you waiting for? Come join us, and we'll see you on the ice.
I'm not going to call it for the win tomorrow because Takamoto Katsuta in second place, 3 seconds, a smidgen over 3. Remind me what it is.
I think it's 3 on the dot. I think it's
could be 3 on the dot. Behind Elfyn Evans. Yeah, you talked about the pressure on Katsuta and the fact that he has to finish. But maybe more important is that he stays ahead of Thierry Neuville. It's a difficult situation for Toyota to manage Katsuta tomorrow because they don't want their 2 top drivers fighting each other. There are no team orders, but they don't want to see them fighting each other. But neither driver can afford the luxury of having an easy day tomorrow because, you know, Thierry Neuville has put himself back in contention, 6.4 seconds off the lead, 3.5 seconds behind Katsuta. There is no room for error with those 2 Toyota boys at the front.
No, it's a good point. And we know how much Neuville loves a fight, don't we? If he can smell anything, he's going to go for it. And he's only 6.3 seconds off the lead, 3.3 off Taka, as you say. So you're right. For Katsuta mentally, obviously he wants to push forward, but he has to think about him behind. So I guess the only mission is just go as fast as you can and see what happens. But
well, I think it's more of the same for both Katsuta and for Evans. They have been incredibly impressive through the first 2 days. There's been no talk from Evans or Katsuta about struggling with tyres. They've just got on with it. Yeah. They've dealt with the hand they've been given, which is these new tyres, and they are different, but they've dealt with it. I think it has to be more of the same tomorrow. And fingers crossed from a Toyota perspective, it'll be enough. But as you say, Neuville is very much in the ascendancy. He can smell blood. He can smell a win. He can smell a huge number of points tomorrow. And he'll be difficult to deal with out there.
Yeah, and mentally for him it's so much easier. He's not got nothing to lose because obviously he didn't have the best start in Monte. He needs to get good points on the board, but he can put the Toyotas under significant pressure. But what I find really interesting is even earlier today at lunchtime, we sort of asked him about how many risks was he prepared to take, and he didn't seem so keen to put it all on the line. But the closer you get to the front, the more hungry you get, don't you? It's there, he's not going to back down.
Look, we've seen it before from Thierry Neuville. If he finds himself in a position to push for a win, that's when you see the absolute commitment and the brilliance of Thierry Neuville. So how prepared are you for an attack tomorrow? 6.3 seconds. How prepared do you feel you are now with the learnings of the last 2 days?
I mean, it's obviously visible that the pressure is there. Elfyn just made a mistake, and for Taka the pressure is on as well. He needs a good result, so let's try to give it that extra pressure it needs tomorrow morning and try to do our best.
What about Ott Tanak? Ott Tanak today has struggled out there, and we talked to him a few minutes ago in the media zone, and I couldn't quite get to grips with what he was trying to tell me. He said he didn't have the speed. Was it the car? Was it him? Was it a combination of the two? It wasn't a happy Tanak out there today, but he could still find himself in that fight potentially because it's not a bad day tomorrow. There are kilometres, but you'd have to say he doesn't seem happy with the car, and that maybe will be the telling factor in his efforts to get into the fight tomorrow.
I think so, but as you say, it's been a bit strange. We don't really know what's going on with the car. We saw at the end of the second stage this morning that there was a mysterious leaking of some kind of fluid from, you reckon it was the front right side of one of the...
like it, yeah.
And he didn't know what that was at lunchtime. He said he'd go and try and speak to engineers to fix it, but this afternoon he's been struggling again. And the first stage this morning he seemed happier with the car itself, so I'm prepared to make a small bet that there's something not quite right. We don't know what it is with the car, but whatever that is, even if it's costing performance, even if it's not, I think just mentally to know you're carrying some kind of problem doesn't help. But he is himself only 12 seconds off the lead as well, so he's the outside player, but he's not out of it. And
we've seen, particularly on this rally, we've seen your drivers coming from 10, 12 seconds behind and putting themselves right back into contention. We have tomorrow 3 stages. We have the longest stage of the rally repeated. If Tanak can get it dialed in on that first pass and take 4 or 5 seconds, which he's perfectly capable of doing, it's game on. It really is game on. Let's take a little look further down then at the standings today. Rovanperä, I don't know what we can say. We talked a lot about it. Have a look at last night's video. He's still struggling. What can we say? He didn't really find... He found a little bit today. but he certainly didn't find any extra pace, any extra positions.
No, it was an odd one because he started the day with a really, really strong time, and then I think he's essentially ended the day with the same gap to the leader, more or less.
A couple of seconds in
so
it, I think.
He's not really made much progress, but I think for him, I'm very interested to see how much he's prepared to push tomorrow for the extra points, because we know how much of a mathematician he is with this kind of stuff. He's aware of the importance of all these points, but does he have the confidence to get them all? Is he prepared to risk it?
I don't think he
get
does.
them all? I don't think so
he does.
either.
I don't think he does. I think, he is really struggling more than anyone. His driving style does not suit these tyres, particularly on this surface. And I can't see him risking it all and going for a push tomorrow. I really can't, which is a very strange thing to say. 12 months ago, I couldn't have imagined myself saying that.
No.
Anyway, there we go. Now, where are we? We're in the M Sport service area, as you can tell. That's Jordan's car. A little further down, what we got, McAleen's car. Before that, whose is that? Was that Martin Sex's car? Let's talk a bit about Sesk then. Let's talk a little bit about the M Sport boys. Sesk again has been impressive, keeping Pyrie at bay. It's a wonderful battle to watch that between Sesk and Pyrie.
It is, and don't forget how much we've compared these guys, particularly last year, as the guys that came into Rally 1 and surprised us all with how fast they were. They're in different positions. Sesk has a half season, Pyrie has a full season, so you could argue that Sesk doesn't have to be, Pyrie doesn't have to be as on the front foot. He can build his way in more, but I'm deeply impressed with Sesk because
enormously.
Obviously, we know Pyrie dropped back yesterday because he had that incident with the snowbank which pushed the tyre off the rim, but today it's been even. Everything's been level, and Sesk has been pulling away, just keeping Pyrie behind him. And for a driver,
he's responded, hasn't he? When the threats come from Pyrie, he's responded, and he's been able to pick up his pace a fraction, and he is keeping him at bay, and as you say, incredibly impressive. Josh McAleen, another great day for him, a learning day. Talk to me about McAleen, and talk to me about the issues that Gregoire had out there. It was tough for Gregoire, but it was very, very encouraging for Josh McAleen.
Yeah, McAleen's pace has still been really solid, hasn't it? I think he's had an overshoot today, but that happens. A lot of drivers have had the same thing. But I think it's fair to say that not many of us expected to see him quite where he is, certainly in terms of his seconds per kilometre deficit, and that's all he's going to be looking at. Munster running at the head of the field today. Everyone thought this time last night, best place to be with the ice base, but the snow comes down, complicates it all. It's been a day of just learning. And
it was a double whammy for the poor boy, wasn't it? Because we saw yesterday, as you said, with Elfyn Evans, he had the best place on the first pass. On the second pass, he was punished because he had to, if you like, create the lines after all of those historic cars. But poor old Gregoire this morning, well, he had to do this road sweeping and he had to do the line cleaning as well. It was tough for him, that is for sure. Now, we haven't talked at all about Adrien Fourmaux. He had a nightmare afternoon. Where do you go, Luke, if you want to see the story of Adrien's afternoon?
You can hit the link right up above my head. I think I remember the right side. I always get this wrong. It's up this way. Yeah.
So, it has been, folks, another wonderful day, another really exciting day. I can't wait for tomorrow. 3 drivers, just over 6 seconds between them. Tanak, the brooding Tanak, just sitting there waiting perhaps to capitalise on any issues. What's your prediction tomorrow, Luke, for tomorrow?
Elfyn Evans to win, for me.
I'm going to go with Neuville. I'm going to go with Neuville for the win. I'm going to go with Neuville for the win tomorrow. What do you boys and girls at home think? Who is going to take the win? What will the 1, 2, 3 be tomorrow? In the comments below. It just continues to give us absolute joy, absolute thrills, absolute excitement, this event. Will it continue tomorrow? I've got no doubt it will. Folks, join us tomorrow for the final day of a pulsating Rally Sweden.